Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, we are going to discuss models and theories of HRM in the course Human Resource Management in Education. Today our lecture number 4. The topic of today's discussion is model of competencies mapping. The content we will discuss in today's topics, that is, what is the definition of competency, what are the definitions of competency mapping, who can identify the competencies, what are different characteristics of individual in competency, what are broad categories in competency, why is there need for competency mapping, what methods are used in combination for competency mapping, why design of competency mapping, what are models for competency mapping, what are steps involved in competency mapping, what are benefits of competency mapping at organization and individual level, and at the last we will discuss what are limitations. When we will complete our topic, all of you, my dear students, you will be able to explain competency and competency mapping. You will be able to elaborate steps of mapping. Then you will be able to explain characteristics of competency mapping, needs of competency mapping, methods of competency mapping, and different categories of competency mapping. Then you will be able to elaborate benefits at organizational and individual level, and at last you will be able to explain limitations. Very first, we will discuss the definition of competency. Competence is the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. For example, courses to improve the competence of staff. Another term for the definition of competence is an income large enough to live on, typically an unearned one. Here you can see that competencies, United Nations Industrial Development Organization 2002, a competency is a set of skills, related knowledge and attributes that allow an individual to successfully perform a task or an activity within a specific function or job. Another definition of competency is there. Competency is underlying characteristic of an individual that is causally related to criterion referenced effective and or superior performance in a job or situation. Now we go to the definition of competency mapping. Here I want to put a question to you all. Question is, if my company is undertaking a job evaluation exercise along with competency mapping is an area which has been least explored in our country. What can you tell me about it? My answer is hidden. The answer of my question is hidden in this slide. We can say competency mapping is the process of identifying key competencies for a particular position in an organization and then using it for job evaluation. Here we can see again, I want to tell you that for job evaluation, recruitment, training and development, performance management, succession planning, which results in talent induction, management development, appraisals, and in identifying training needs. There are some other definitions or terms for competency mapping. These are: competency mapping involves the process by which we determine It involves the nature and scope of a specific job role. It involves skills required. It involves the level of knowledge required. It involves the behavioral capacities required to apply those skills and knowledge in that role. And at last, we can say that competency mapping identifies an individual's strengths and weaknesses. Here are some other definitions of competency mapping. These definitions are the process of identifying key attributes and skills for each position and process within the company. Here, attributes and skills mean the characteristics and skills of person. The aim is to enable the person to better understand him or herself and to point out where career development efforts need to be directed. Competency mapping has a very important and vital role. The role in which areas the role is in the selection, in the recruitment and retaining the right people. It means that right people should be selected, they should be recruited and they should be retrained. When the competency required for a particular position is mapped, an accurate job profile is created. Who can identify the competencies? There are different people who can identify the competencies. These people are experts, human resource specialist, job analyst, and psychologist. Experts are those persons who are very knowledgeable about the skillful in particular areas of any organization. Human resource specialists are those people who align their organizational interest with their employee work-life needs across their health, their wealth, and careers for direct business impact and success. Their human resource services include advisory, technology, and administrative solutions to help them effectively to manage their human resource programs. Now comes the job analyst. The job analyst work in human resource department of a company or organization, conducting in-depth research about occupations and job descriptions. They focus on worker classification systems while studying the effects of industry and occupational trends upon worker relationships. At last, the identification of competencies are made by psychologists. Who are psychologists? As we know that psychology plays a very important role at the time of recruitment, taking disciplinary action or resolving disputes between employees. So psychologists have to describe the duties for different people at the time of recruitment by taking necessary actions. Then there are some broad categories in competency. These categories are: first one is generic competencies, which are considered essential for all employees regardless of their functions or level. The examples for generic are communication, initiative, and listening skills. Then comes managerial competencies. These competencies which are considered essential for managers or supervisory responsibility. Then comes technical or functional category in the competency. It means that specific competencies which are considered essential to perform a specific role in the organization within a defined technical or functional area of work. We can see the broad categories in this diagram. You can see there is competency. If these are managerial, then competencies which are considered essential for staff with managerial or supervisory responsibility in any service or program area, including directors and senior posts. Then we can see another category which is generic. You can see in this diagram competencies which are considered essential for all staff regardless of their function or level. Then another category is technical or functional specific competencies which are considered essential to perform any job in the organization within a defined technical or functional area of work. Then there are some characteristics of individuals in the competency. These characteristics are: first one is motive. What is motive? Underlying need or thought pattern that drives, direct and selects an individual behavior. For example, need for achievement. The other characteristic of any individual, that is trait, a general disposition to behavior response in a certain way, for instance with self-confidence, self-control, stress resistance. The traits for any individual, it is the characteristic. The traits include self-confidence of any person, self-control of any person, or stress resistance. Then the third characteristic is self-concept. What they think they value, what they think they do or interested in doing. And then the fourth characteristic is knowledge. Knowledge mean content knowledge. It means that the individuals should have knowledge regarding their field in any organization. You can see the characteristics of individual in this flow sheet diagram, that is number 1 motives, number 2 self-concept, number 3 traits, number 4 knowledge, and number 5 skills. What is the need for competency mapping? There are different needs for competency mapping. Some of these are to focus on performing roles, for time management, building the core competition. Along with these needs, there are some other benefits. We can say that competency mapping has a number of benefits for both the individual and as well as organization. First of all, it allows employees to understand what career development efforts they should be making and to what end result. From the perspective of the employer, competency mapping increases the awareness of existing skill sets as well as gaps in the organization. It helps in defining the scope of work for existing roles and new job openings. It also helps in aligning the learning of the work existing employees with their required skills. It also helps in recruiting people with the right skill sets. Then there are some methods used in combination for competency mapping. These methods are interviews, group work, task forces, task analysis workshops, questionnaire, use of job description. Why competency mapping was designed? It was designed to consistently measure and assess individual and group performance as it relates to the expectations of the organization and its customers. It is used to identify key attributes like knowledge, skills, and behavior attributes that are required to perform effectively in a job classification or an identified process. In step 1, there is map competency. In step 2, the identification of competency. In step 3, analysis of competency gap. In step 4, there is decision, and in step 5, proposed performance level. There are some models for the competency. You can see over here competency model. First we see relationships. Relationships include communication and influencing, interpersonal skills, teamwork and team building, customer focus, and cross-cultural agility. Then the other model is analytical. It includes problem analyst, critical thinking, decision making, innovation, and professional expertise. The third one is management. It includes delegation and performance management, project process management, managing executions, coaching and developing talent, and managing differences or conflicts. Then the other model is leadership. Leadership includes strategic thinking, business, leading courageously, inspiring others, integrity, trust, and credibility. And at the last, there is self management. It includes learning agility or development, initiative and risk taking, drive for results, adaptability management, and emotional resilience. Competency modeling has assumed greater significance in order to optimize not only the human resource but also to provide meaningful job understanding to its incumbents. The second point is that competency modeling is used for the purpose of decision relating to rewards, promotions, and recruitment, and training and motivation aspects. A competency mapping, a description of skills, traits, experiences, and knowledge required for a person to be effective in a job. A competency mapping, a description of skills, traits, experiences, and knowledge required for a person to be effective in a job. There are three models in mapping the competencies, which are as follows: one size fits all competency models, multiple job competency model, simple job competency model. There are different steps which are involved in competency mapping. These steps are: job evaluation based competency mapping involved the following steps. The steps involved in a competency mapping with an end results of job evaluation include the following, which are shown in the next slides. In step 1, conduct a job analysis by asking incumbent to complete a position information questionnaire. In step 2, using the results of the job analysis, develop a competency-based job description. In step 3, with a competency-based job description, begin the mapping of competencies throughout human resource processes. In step 4, use the results of evaluation to identify in what competencies individuals need additional development or training. The different researchers have explained different steps. The researchers highlighted 8 steps to competency mapping, which have been summarized as follows. First step is identify the department for which competency mapping needs to be conducted. Second step is identify the organizational structure and list down the grades and levels followed in that organization. In step 3, conduct job analysis and prepare a job and role description. In step 4, using any suitable method of competency mapping, collect data about the core competencies of the employee. In step 5, classify the obtained data into required skill set and further identify the skill levels. In step 6, evaluate and confirm the identified skill set with immediate supervisors and heads of other departments. Step 8, preparation of competency calendar. Sorry, this was step 7, and in step 8, mapping of the competencies. Now we move toward the benefits of competency mapping at organizational level. The first benefit is that it helps an organization in assessing the employees against industry or company recognized standards. The second benefit is that it can reduce. The second benefit of competencies mapping is that it can reduce training cost and identify needing areas of development. It is very effective in identifying development needs and human resource development. It can help in a reorganization and assessment of receptively organizational changes, and it also helps in the assessment and development center approach, which can improve organizational productivity and the bottom line. Another benefit for the competency mapping at individual level is that the individuals can undertake self-assessment at one's own convenience. The knowledge and skills of the individual come to light. Third point is that the time required for self-development taken by it is comparatively much less than taken by any other method of self-development. Now comes to the limitations of competency mapping approach. First point is that it is difficult to evaluate and analyze the competencies. The second point is that undefined purpose for mapping. Third point for limitations is that not knowing where to lead. And the fourth limitation is that it is not able to assess the results accurately.